So within the OneRadon application software on my mobile device, I use my mobile device as my means to remotely control my monitor. So I'm an inspector today, and I'm on site at a job, and I want to set up my XP with my LTE module. So I'm going to quickly snap over here just to show you. We have a device, and it's currently set up with the LTE module inserted to the back. This is our antenna feature. It's just a simple little plug-in to the unit itself. And what we'll do next is ensure that our LTE is showing the EXT extension and it's green, which means that it's ready to go. It's sending a proper signal and it's going to communicate nicely. What I'm going to do next is switch back over to my application software, and I'm going to connect with my Bluetooth to the device because we're going to want to establish a connection. And I'm going to wait for that to synchronize here for a sec. And once we do that, this 1028 XP will communicate through to the unit. Here we go. So this is my device, my serial number of my Bluetooth, which is the E5C8. I'm going to go ahead and select that as my device that I'm going to connect to. And it's going to transfer the serial number and the unit information over. Okay, great. So now we're connected to our 1028 XP, and you can see if I clicked over on my device again real quick that the Bluetooth is enabled and connected, and I'm still ready for testing. So I'm going to go back to my software and I'm going to click on new test. So I just simply selected new test, and you can see today's date, everything is up to speed. I've gone ahead and sort of established a little bit of a longer duration with my monitor because I feel it's sometimes necessary that if you're in the cloud with your device, and I'll show you where this is going to come into play, but if you get to a point where your 48 hours is almost up, and maybe the device stops doing what it's intended to do, or if you see some anomalous material occurring there on site with the information that's coming up in your cloud application, then you can go ahead and sort of restart the test, and it'll still give you plenty of time to then adjust and run longer. So what I'm going to do is start a new test. So I'm going to just simply click start test on my mobile application. And it's going to synchronize my time because we're all up to speed, so you can see the OK. And now I've got a new test in progress. I'm going to switch back over to my camera just so you can see that the test is now in progress. And our EXT has turned into a nice light blue feature, which means we're sending data and everything is functional. So test in progress. My monitor's good at this point. I think that's green. Sorry, my color coordination is off today. So green is what's showing on the EXT. So we're sending data signals, and we know that everything is secure at this point. We could technically leave the job site now and pack our stuff, leave our monitor, and then go back to our office locations. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to my software and just go ahead and show that now we're going to do a cloud feature. So let me refresh this because I might be having some network issues here in the office. We do have a little bit of tropical development still occurring in Florida, so it's quite rainy out today. Here we go. So now I've got my monitor, which you saw before was this particular serial number, and it was connected through our cloud previously as an LTE. This is where I know that that serial number is licensed with an LTE. And I can show you basics on that to begin with, but I'm just going to go forward with the LTE connection at this point. So I can tell you a little bit about this page. This is our cloud service, oneradon.com, and you can see that there's a little red indicator light up at the top, and that is telling me now that I have a successful data sync for my device, and it's giving me an inspection ID. That if I want to, I can go in and look for 32518 over to the left-hand side of my screen. So let me close out of that notification. I'm going to go over here to the left-hand side, and I'm going to go up to my inspections, and I'm going to search for or look for that particular inspection ID, which is just a primary key allocated to that unit in the cloud. And here we go. So we have 32518. It started a test here in our Melbourne, Florida location. I have my serial number allocated to it, and this is the obviously today's date and time that it started at 12:08 p.m. And you can see, again, I have my LTE indication here that it's connected and running. And my 0% completed basically means I have an extended time frame running right now at 100 hours on my device. And I haven't even completed the first hour yet, obviously. So once time starts ticking away to the actual test itself, that percentage will increase and go through again a set amount of percentile. Again, 25% is going to roughly be 24 hours, or half of the time frame of a normal test would be 50% if you're set for 48 hours. So once we see hourly data starting to acquire, this percentage will change. And then, of course, when the test is completed, it's going to be marked as 100% completed, as kind of shown in this test here at the bottom, where it shows that obviously we had a passing picocurie rate, and we could, go in and evaluate or mark that test as completed. So let's go ahead and check out oneradon.com. So here we are in the first dashboard page that is going to give you a geo map of physically where your device is located. And it does this really well through using your OneRadon application software on your mobile phone. So the mobile phone actually does have GPS capabilities to it. So when you're connecting to your XP on location, it's a good idea to use your OneRadon application software to do exactly what I did, which was go in, start a new test, and it's going to then signal to the device that's going to then use that as its address locations. Not every single GPS on every single phone is going to identically match you to the address. You might need to go into your application in OneRadon and physically adjust the address details. It could, show you by maybe a different house number, but it should give you a very, very close proximity to where your testing is being done. Now I can go ahead and click into my test number, and you'll see again just an iteration of what we went through with the device itself. My test number is here again, and I can click on that to take me right to the inspection. It's giving me a number of our serial, the actual unit itself, the test time frame that it was started, and then the duration of the test, which is always good to know, so you have an idea of how long the test is going to run for. Since we haven't presented any customer name or any information to the application in the OneRadon cloud, this information is not showing at the moment. But we can simply scroll down a little bit here if I can get to that side of the screen. Just go ahead and click into this inspection, and again, it takes us to the report itself. So that's a nice, easy way to get to the device inspection from the dashboard itself in OneRadon software. The nice part about OneRadon, our OneRadon cloud services, is when you have or already a user of Sunradon products, if you have your devices set up with us as an account, creating your OneRadon cloud account is very simple. There's nothing else to do other than logging in and creating a password with the email address that we have for you on file. And if you ever want to just verify any of the details with us, you can certainly give us a call to our support line to just review your current email address and any of the devices that you currently own, or if you've acquired from someone else or another business. We can certainly make sure that all of that information is already established to your account, so you don't have to set up anything else other than a login information with your email and then create a unique password for yourself. We don't hold those passwords. That is your information. So I just want to make that very clear. It's super simple to do, oneradon.com, and then just create new account and then set up your password. Once you log in, you're going to have ability to see, you're going to be able to go in and license your devices. And on those device licenses, let me turn this back on so you can see. Let's switch over to our device just so you can see it, test in progress. So when you log in with your devices, you'll have a list of serial numbers that are already under your account. So you don't have to add any serial numbers. They should already be listed, again, unless you call us and tell us you bought something from someone else or have acquired a different service or business model that those serial numbers have now become yours. Those will be to accounts that we will simply merge for you, and you don't have to go in and add them. Under your device management screen, you can simply go into the licensing, and you can select which devices that you want to actively license. And then again, if you're a 1028 XP user and you want to be in at the advanced level 1 license, You can go in and you can add a new license to another serial number, or you can renew your current license with us if your year has expired. Very simple to do there. The LTE licensing is very easy to do as well. We give you the SIM card that comes with your device that's already embedded into the actual little circuit board of the hardware, but we give you the card itself where the SIM card popped out from so that you can apply the SIM number here to match it to the serial number that it's deployed with, because it does need to speak to that particular device. And if you wanted to move it to a different device, you would just make sure that other XP device was allocated in the cloud, added a level 1 license, and then as it's allocated in the cloud at the level 1 license, you would just simply move it to that particular device, and then you can deploy that unit with the antenna as well. Or if you need to add a second antenna to another serial number, you would do it through this method here as well. So you could click and select a serial number and then go into add the LTE license here, and then it's basically going to promote the payment process to it. It is a 6-month license, so we do pay the brunt of the data plan by just passing then the primary rates through to the users in a 6-month allocation. So you can choose to do this in a 6-month span and then renew it, as the 6 months approaches. Or if at that point in time you want to maybe move the antenna to a different device, you could simply allocate it at that point in time if it's, maybe you're sending one back for calibration. So without proceeding, because this is just going to take me to the credit card processing section, but this is where you would go in and add your LTE licenses. So it's quite simple to do. You just need to make sure that the SIM number matches what's on the card that we give you, and then you can simply go in and set up that device. So let's go back to the list again under device management, again showing that, sorry, let's let it synchronize here for a second. There we go. So now we have our models, and different models can be presented in the cloud, but you do want to make sure that they're all set up for specific licensing. And then if you need to renew a license, again, you go through these steps here above. And this basically gives you a comparison sheet of the cloud services, which will tell you what's included to each license. And then just so you know, calibrations when you're in the cloud at either license level, the base or the advanced level 1. Advanced level 1 is the required license for the XP users with the LTE signal. Your calibrations are always included as part of that service plan. So you can then create your RMAs for return calibration services very easily in the cloud once that year is up and you need to renew that certificate with us. So we're going to go back into our settings here. So if we look at our inspection itself, we'll go back into the actual test that's being, this is the test that we're currently running. And here you can see it's very similar to the one Radon software, either in the mobile application or specifically from the desktop. But we didn't really have much address details, so we can certainly go in and modify these addresses within the cloud to appropriately match the location of where the test is being done if you didn't synchronize it with your phone, or if you started a test manually from the display of the device. If you started it with the display of the device, chances are the address is going to probably replicate what's being read at the AT&T tower within that 2-mile range. So be sure that if you do start a test with your touchscreen of your device, that you go in and modify or update the address appropriately to the testing location. If you do it with your mobile phone, chances are it will find a more appropriate location with the GPS of your mobile phone to the site addresses. You can simply click use site address here, and we could add in testing information. So we'll just put Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and use that again. So let's just say they're concerned homeowners and they want their home inspected for radon. Now, if I want to go in and set up this report, I would simply go through the motions to the checklist of items, and I can add details there. I can add radon information. I can add other options to the report itself by selecting the checklist items in the software, and show those to the report once it's completed and I'm ready to send it to my clients. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and just save that information to my report. And what this does is now each time that I go in, it's going to have that information allocated to the report itself. And it may take a screenshot or like a capture of this time frame. But if you ever do that later on in the test, you simply go in and just scroll to the later time of the report itself to see all of the data that's been acquired. Again, this test has barely been running for even 15 or 20 minutes now, so we don't have any data acquired yet. But that's basically what you'll do if you do save information during the test itself. Now at the top, you can see that the inspection information is very similar to, again, the one right on software on your desktop screen, but we have extra features in the cloud because you're running this device with an LTE module. I can simply restart the test if I wanted to. If I knew there was a problem or if I knew that the house hadn't been closed up for closed building procedures as intended when it was initiated, I would simply click restart. That's going to basically physically end this test number and create a new test number for me and start the inspection process all over again from that 0 hour of when it was restarted. If I want to go in and stop the test completely, if I run it, say, for 52 hours and I live in Ohio and I know that my data has been complete and I'm at the 53rd hour, I can go in and simply just stop that test. I will end the test itself, and then I would basically go in and complete or review all of the data to my reports. And I can do that by then generating my PDFs through the generation tool here and get sort of a print preview of what's happening with that inspection. So it does allow you to have the ability to assimilate and see the data as it's being acquired. Again, we haven't taken any data here on this test, so it's still running in the background. But what I just want to show you is if I do go ahead and click restart, if you see the monitor on my side screen here, this test in progress, what I'm going to do is click restart, and it's going to prompt me for a confirmation of that restart. And yes, I'm sure that I want to restart the inspection, so I'm going to go ahead and click yes. And what it's going to do is the inspection's starting, and it's going to should be allocating a new test number. So I'll go back to my inspections. And because there's a time lapse that the actual data in the cloud has to see the tower signal, it's going to take a little bit of time. So once we get to that next hourly update, we will actually see the test number change. So just note that these things do have to be signaled through the cloud as the monitor's updating in real time. But the test in progress will continue, and we'll have another test number to complete that information from. I want to go back to the dashboard screen, I'm sorry, to the inspection screen, and show you some completed inspections so that you can see the data. So the next hour we'll see our restart, but we'll share that information with you once that information comes up. And I have another presentation tomorrow, so we'll confirm it because I'll let it keep running. All right, so what I'm going to show you next is a test that's been completed. So here we had a measurement count of 48 hours, and we had our intervals set for 1 hour intervals. And this one had a passing condition with the overall averaging, but I want to go ahead and do a print preview so we can see all of the information to the report itself. And I'm going to go up and generate my report real quick, sort of a print preview, and you can see the graphing popping up there on the screen, the charts. And here we have the information that's now shared from a previous report that we did earlier this year, or earlier this month. So the information is now presentable in its standard report format. We have our graphs, we have all our details. I have my hourly data that's been acquired. Everything, you know, if I see that I need to make a change here, I can certainly go in and change that. If I need to update anything, what I'll do at this point would be to go back to my report itself. But I do use my document preview all the time just to verify things are spelled properly, if I need to make an adjustment, if I have to go in and change this from past to maybe a more presentable proficiency evaluation of at or above EPA recommended action levels or no mitigation recommended, depending on what I want to put on this report. So here we go, we'll just choose the below recommended action level, and then I can save it. So this information has been completed, and if I wanted to go ahead and, again, generate my report and send this data off to my clients, I can use my cloud for that. My cloud services act as an email process for sending your reports as well, and you can simply download it and then just email it off with your normal email system. It's waiting, so here we go. So it's going to download my preview, and then I can save it and attach it in an email. Or I can send it through the software itself, which is right here. So this email address, I can simply apply and send my reports directly from my cloud services. So those are features that you can download and save, or you can send them directly. The next thing I want to share is the CSV download. You do have these Excel files that can be generated with all of your testing information to that particular test itself, which you can then save and use for your state reporting if needed. And if you have, let's see, don't say that. So we'll go back to our cloud. If you go back to your inspections themselves or your main screen, sorry, let me get to the main screen. Down here at the bottom, you see we have a download a cloud feature that will allow you to generate all of the CSV files that you have listed with that particular device. So if you select that, sorry, it's pulling no data because it's pulling this weird address again. Get me out of here. There. There we are. Now we can download some data here. So we should have inspection data that we can pull. There we go. So there's my CSV data for all of the inspections that I have listed with my particular device. That gives me all of the information, again, maybe to supplement, to update to any state reporting if necessary. Few extra features before we run out of too much time here. You have settings that you can go in and set up under the your standard preferences that you can change if needed. Here you can add your signature, obviously select specifics to the report, very similar to one Radon. The notification settings are what allows me to see this information up to the top, and then it also sends it to me via Google, and I can see that through my Focus Assist with my Google services. So which is a nice feature. If you're not technically logged into your cloud account, you can still go to the bottom of your screen through Google. I can see that my device is still sending successful data. Homepage settings, you can make a few alterations here. You can set up that your dashboard is your main screen to that maps, or if you want to log in and go directly to your inspections, you can certainly just select inspection and then save that information. So we're going to probably run out of time. There's always too much to talk about, and I apologize for that. But what I'm going to do is let this device keep running. I'm going to chime back in tomorrow for our second live session, which is going to be primarily focused on the LTE, but we'll do a spot check. So we're going to leave our device running on that inspection itself. So we're going to catch up with this particular device and see a little more data acquisition with our serial number, our LTE signal, and the next test that it's going to start acquiring data at probably 1:09 p.m. today. So once that updates, we'll see that information tomorrow, and we should be in it for about 24 hours. So we'll check back in on that test. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to give us a call. I want to follow up from our little session yesterday with the 1028XP in conjunction with the LTE module. So just a quick follow-up, part 2 of that session. We ended a test yesterday, and then we began a new test with a successful synchronization. So the new test is actually in progress at this point in time, and we have an LTE connection with 23% completed. So I just wanted to follow up with that inspection seminar that we did yesterday with the XP and the LTE. So that is still in play and in progress. And again, if I select my alert messaging at the top, I can actually verify that I have successful data synchronization throughout that inspection all the way up to this last segment here for this new test number. So I just wanted to verify and complete that mission from our discussion yesterday for the XP and the LTE.